Hey everyone, this is The Dialogue. So today I'm looking at Mayte Garcia, who was the ex-wife of Prince, and we're going to look at her relationship with him and just how genuine it was.
Perhaps an aspirin overdose. There were some signs there.
There were signs.
Once she says he was taken to the ER after what he convinced her was an aspirin overdose.
You never saw him taking drugs?
I never saw him taking drugs. I never saw him drunk.
So that seems pretty congruent. You don't see her with a cluster of deceptive mannerisms. It's pretty congruent that she didn't see what he was doing.
Marijuana, never. And the aspirin, I believed him.
I felt bad for you during parts of this book.
I know that people would probably be angry with him. I hope that I turned it around and made you appreciate and respect Prince.
What's he like?
His mornings were sometimes 2, 3 in the afternoon. Disclaimer that right now, he's not your average guy, but he loved driving in the car. He loved Tostitos.
So she was looking in her memory side of her brain. She was looking down to her left.
Private and at that time a devout Seventh-day Adventist. Mayte was pregnant, there was something wrong. She claims Prince declined medical intervention.
The faith that he had it just made me believe that everything was going to be okay.
And the shrugging of the shoulders, that she wasn't entirely sure about that. But she's still in memory and she's still pretty genuine.
It wasn't. Their baby Amir died of a rare genetic disorder, Pfeiffer syndrome, at just 1 week old.
It's the worst thing that ever happened to me and to him, I think.
So it's pretty bad. Obviously it was pretty hard hitting for her and him.
Later, they appeared on Oprah.
That the couple's baby boy was born with health problems, and the reports have fans concerned.
What is the status of your baby, your pregnancy?
Well, our family exists.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, Prince, our family exists. So in his mind, he's thinking he's in heaven, the boy's in heaven. And there's a lot of sadness between them both. And he's playing against the emotion of happiness. He's actually very, very sad. And so is she, obviously. Her head went down. She looked down. She didn't want to show herself to the cameras or Oprah.
We're just beginning it. Mm-hmm. And we got many kids to have.
And if you saw him shaking his head, he wasn't entirely sure about that even back then.
Long way to go.
And that's all the artist and his wife choose to say at this time.
You could see that she wanted it, Mayte wanted it, and Prince was having doubts. And unfortunately, they didn't have that baby.
Is already dead.
It's all good. Never mind what you hear.
I knew we had an album to promote, and
that little movement there was regret. So that little pull down of the lips coming down is regret. It could also be guilt. So regret and guilt.
the faith that kept me going was that we were going to try again.
Prince called the shots.
He made the decision that neither of you would be there when Amir passed.
I wouldn't have survived that.
But you weren't given the choice.
I know, I wasn't.
So if you look back at what she's doing, she's soothing herself because she's feeling a little bit nervous, or it could be a bit of stress after all. That's what we do when we're under a little bit of stress.
You weren't given the choice.
I know, I wasn't given the choice. And I was very, very resentful for many years.
Absolutely congruent, a nodding of the head when she said she was resentful of Prince.
So the house that you shared,
Yeah,
I mean, he had that burnt down.
bulldozed down. That's the part of Prince that's very controlling. He doesn't look back. He moves forward.
So when she said that, she looked at him straight in the eye, didn't look away, didn't look down.
Soon, the loss overwhelmed her.
I had a whole bunch of pills in the bathroom. I went into the bedroom because I figured if they were going to find me, at least find me laying down.
So large eyes, I want you to understand what I'm saying.
I had a Yorkie. Her name was Mia. I had the pills in my hand, and
Eyelashes blinking, stress.
she just came and just started scratching me. She just wouldn't stop scratching me. She saved me.
She did become pregnant again, but suffered a miscarriage.
I think that's what drove us apart.
3 years later, Prince married Wella Testolini.
I think he thought because we lost our 2 children, 2 babies,
Regret.
that I wasn't the one.
Prince and Mayte drifted apart, hadn't spoken in years. In late 2015, she got a call.
He wasn't doing well. I felt the need to try to reach out.
So there's a lot of regret coming down here. She does feel sad.
But once you're out of that circle, it's really hard to get back in the circle.
Later, Mayte got a text from his second wife, Manuela, that read simply, "Call me."
She's the one that told me that he passed away. First thing I thought about was that he was alone. That was beyond heartbreaking to me.
Alone again, a regret and sadness. So she's pulling down her mouth ends.
I'm pretty confident that I had a past life where I was of that descent.
She was an Air Force brat in Europe, and her parents dragged her to a Prince concert in Spain.
They both, remember, through the loud music, "You need to give him a tape of your belly dancing. You hear this?"
They got a tape of her dancing to Prince and actually met him later on the tour in Germany.
When he got on stage, it was just, he owned it. I mean, it felt to me like he was performing for me, just for me.
Maybe he was.
Genuine embarrassment, looking down, but no feigning there.
Music.
And then you met up occasionally?
Yeah, I would meet up occasionally.
16-year-old hot dancer. So what would he think of your book?
I think he would have liked it
Why?
because it's coming from a loving place.
Okay, so overall from Mayte, from what I can tell is she's just a very genuine, caring person. It's written all over her. She's very warm. She was probably very good for Prince. Obviously it didn't work out in the kids department, so he got rid of her, married someone else. So all in all, she's really congruent and she was good news. All right, thanks for watching. This is The Dialogue. Please like and subscribe and ding my bell.